Okay, well, as you probably know by now, the new update 2018.10.4 has been issued for Tesla, and I've actually got it in my car, although right now, I don't know if you can see, it is snowing out there and raining, so I'm not going to take the car out right now, but I wanted to make a short video that discusses some of the improvements that have happened with this update. And I think, as I mentioned, if you watch this previous video of mine, Tesla doesn't actually acknowledge that anything has happened with autopilot in the actual update text or the update, just a little document that comes with the update. But I can tell you from doing my own research, I've found that there are quite a few updates, and I'm going to test these all out as soon as I'm able to. One of them is the way Tesla, the autopilot, behaves when you're going over hills. And as you may or may not know, it has a problem with that. If you search my channel for Tesla cresting over hills, jumping over short hills, you'll see that as you reach the top of the hill, it kind of loses track almost every single time, and it kind of freaks out a little bit. Sometimes it even crosses over the line, so you got to grab onto that wheel, be ready to grab it. And it does the same thing at the bottom of hills a lot of times as you're going to a dip. It kind of loses sight because it's not looking straight forward, and it loses those lines, and it can't kind of interpolate to figure things out. So supposedly that's supposed to be fixed here in this new version. Another thing that's supposed to be fixed, and I've also got videos on this, is how Tesla watches or reacts or knows through GPS different speed limits and how they go up and down. Like if you have your autopilot locked in at 55 and you're going into a 45, it'll bring you down suddenly to 45 miles an hour, and it happens kind of abruptly. The new version is not supposed to happen quite as abruptly when there's a speed limit going down like that, but it still suffers the same problem as previous versions of autopilot, which is that it doesn't bring the speed down until you actually get to that new sign. So if there's a cop waiting behind the sign, you're going to get a ticket. So that's a problem. Now, there's other changes up in terms of the way the general smoothness of operation of lane changes and things, and I'm gonna want to check on that, because I can tell you there's been dramatic improvements actually in the smoothness of the lane changes if you check out my previous videos on that from when I got my Tesla a year ago. But there are still pretty dramatic unsmoothnesses when you're changing lanes on the interstate and you're in your lane because you're going too slow, and your car just basically floors it while it's turning. It's kind of abrupt. So I'm going to see if that has anything to do with it. I don't know if this update has done anything with that or not. We'll find out. And let's see. Well, I think there's one more thing about this. Yeah, well, as you know, I operate all the time in construction zones, even though you're not supposed to. So I think that apparently in the new version 2018.10.4, there's supposed to be some kind of enhanced logic or algorithms going on when you're in a construction zone. Things are supposed to operate smoother. I don't think they're saying you can actually use it in construction zones yet, but it's supposed to work better anyway. So anyway, these are the improvements I'm going to test out. And as you know, I do the curve of death videos, and if you check those out on my playlist on the front of my channel, you can see how it has progressed pretty well and learned. And I'm hoping to get out to that curve again and test it with this new update. And also, of course, the much more frequent videos I have on the accuracy test videos just in Reston, Virginia, on North Shore Drive. That's like a maze of a little low-speed secondary road, and has all kinds of challenges. And this is really going to put my accuracy test little track there is going to put this thing to the real test. So we will see how it does. Any comments you think on how it's going to do on that accuracy test road? Let me know. Let me know if you've seen my videos, and some of them are pretty good, but other ones are pretty bad, especially in the early times before my car had learned enough. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will look forward to your comments, and we'll be testing out everything I can on this new version of autopilot as soon as the weather improves.